This is why people hate the media, right? Everybody feels like they're arguing more from a narrative than they are just sort of objectively describing what's happening. And with Biden, it's particularly weird because early on in the Democratic primary, when the media was convinced it's not going to be Biden, it's going to be Pete Buttigieg, or it's going to be Kamala Harris, or it's going to be, whoever, fill in the blank with whoever imploded and was terrible. They actually were open and honest about the fact, for example, that Joe Biden's sort of sundowning and he's not all there and he can't really complete full sentences. And so they actually were the ones who brought it up in debates with him, for example. Julian Castro very famously was like, do you even know what you just said like 5 seconds ago? This was a big moment in the debate. And so the media would openly talk about, I don't know if Joe's all there anymore. But the second that he got the nomination,
they stopped.
Nobody's allowed to say it. And if you say it, you're a right winger. Exactly. Yeah. Even though, I was the biggest Bernie supporter out there, and I was like, here's a compilation of Joe Biden clearly having some mental issues.
Yeah.
And so it was just incredibly dishonest. And to your point on Putin and Russia, the narrative that they're using for Biden is he's tough, he's standing up to him. It was the exact opposite for Trump, where they were saying, oh, he's Vladimir Putin's puppet.
Yeah.
And they're actually incorrect for both of those things. So in terms of what Trump was doing, Trump bombed Syria, who's Russia's top ally. Trump rejected this pipeline called the Nord Stream pipeline, which would have greatly helped Russia. Trump armed Ukrainian rebels on the ground who are fighting Russia. Trump did a NATO buildup on Russia's border. Now, I don't agree with those policies, but those policies are incredibly hawkish and raise tensions with Russia. Now, in the case of Biden, Biden actually just approved the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is a pipeline that's going to greatly help Russia because it makes it so that Russian oil and gas is going to be used in Germany now. And so that's a very peaceful move. That's not hawkish. That's not raising tensions. So he's basically giving Putin something that Putin wants, which, again, I actually agree with that. I see no problem with the pipeline, but they're framing it as if like, Joe Biden, he's so weak and he's, Vladimir Putin, or excuse me, Joe Biden is so strong and he's dominating Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I don't understand why they think that they can do that and that people won't be more hesitant to believe the news.
Dude, you would be surprised at, unfortunately, some of this stuff lands. There is a backlash to it, but some of this stuff lands. I saw a great Pew poll the other day. When it came to Donald Trump, it was like over 70% of the time they talked about him, they would talk about his character and leadership qualities or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And so when that's how you're talking about the person, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Because what does that even mean? Let me talk about this person's character. It's subjective. Somebody could say, I think he's got great character. Somebody could say, I think he's got terrible character. So it was always out of the realm of policy.
Right.
And then that same poll, it was like 60 or 65% of the time when they talked about Biden, they talked about policy. So there was